Time now for sports on 104.7 The Cave. Here's Ned Reynolds.
Mike, the intern, Ned Reynolds, in the studio this morning. It looked like the weather held off, at least for the state baseball championships, to get those games in yesterday. Is that right?
It's usually consolation championship. Well, this time they moved the two championship games because of the pending weather that never happened. Okay, be that as it may, one state champion from the area, the Class 2 state champ, is Miller, the Miller Cardinals from over in Lawrence County. 7-1, they beat Eugene, and Miller can celebrate now the whole year as the state Class 2 baseball champions. Now 3 and 4 play today. First game is at 10 o'clock. Portageville from way down in southeast Missouri takes on Fairgrove. Fairgrove is having a great run over the last 4 and 5 years, not just baseball, everything. Football, volleyball, basketball, girls basketball, my goodness sake. That's the Class 3. And in Class 4, later on today, Sullivan from up in the St. Louis area meets Logan Rogersville. So we have two teams from the area who will be competing for state championships, I should say, starting today, and then continuing the title games will be tomorrow. Then 5 and 6 will be Friday and Saturday.
What the hell are they putting in the water up there in Fairgrove?
Something.
So I read this headline yesterday. I just had dinner and I was just kind of scrolling and I saw this headline and I'm thinking, you know, it's crazy. This guy literally has completely changed the direction of this organization. They had been a garbage fire for so long, and literally in the last 5 years, he's got them where he put them. And head coach of the Knicks is gone. I can't believe it.
Well, this reporter is mystified. Of course, we don't know the inner workings of anything that goes on, but Tom Thibodeau, who got his team into the NBA East Finals against the Indiana Pacers, did lose eventually, but they fire him? 51 wins? And been with the club for 5 seasons and had them in contention? And you're right about the Knicks. They have had a whole era, decades, of not very good basketball at all. And here they are good and fire the coach. Well, go figure. Thibodeau's been around. He's not a kid. He's been around to a lot of organizations, and he has been fired. Chicago Bulls had him. He had a big winning streak with the Chicago Bulls back in their era in the mid-1990s. He got fired from them. Something is amiss that we don't know about, but whatever it is, that doesn't seem right to have a guy lose his job like that.
Yeah, and I'm with you, man. Like I said, when I read it, I was just like, I can't believe this. But there's stuff that goes behind those closed doors that we never get to see, so maybe that's what it's all about. What do you remember about the late football star Jim Marshall?
I remember a lot about him. First of all, he was an outstanding All-America at Ohio State. Then when he went into the NFL, he's with the Minnesota Vikings. 19 of the 20 years he played 20 years, 19 with the Vikings and 1 year with the Cleveland Browns. 270. Get this, folks. This is incredible. He's a defensive end. 270 consecutive starts for the Vikings in the 60s and 70s. Played against the Chiefs in the Super Bowl in 1970, I guess it was, 1970. And the Chiefs beat him. But Jim Marshall was on that team. They had the famed Minnesota Vikings Purple People Leaders, and he was one of them. A great defensive team, and yet they never got over the hump to win a Super Bowl. They were there 4 times, but never could win it. And Marshall was one of the keys. But as great as his career was, he's remembered for one gaffe, is what you'd call it. 1964, Kezar Stadium, San Francisco. I'll not forget it. 49ers and the Vikings. Vikings eventually won the game. But late in the third quarter, San Francisco fumbled, and Jim Marshall picked it up and ran it in the wrong way. 66 yards, the team is yelling at him, stop, and he couldn't hear him, and he gets down to the end zone and throws the ball into the stands. Safety for the other team. Gee, but Minnesota won the game, and Marshall had some key tackles in that one, but he'll be remembered for Wrong Way Marshall running 66 yards the wrong way. Died yesterday at the age of 87. Great pro football player.
That's not a bad idea. We should start calling you Wrong Way Ned. So yesterday when we discussed the Royals calling up one of their young studs, I said, this is exactly what they need. Well, it was exactly what they needed.
Well, in very many respects it was. Jack Caglione is who you're talking about, and he was in the starting lineup. He was the designated hitter, and he batted 6th in the lineup. Of course, that's probably 5th or 6th is where you're going to put him. He has a great history of power. Now, Caglione was 0 for 5 last night, and Mike, I'm going to tell you, I'm kind of glad that is the case. Frequently, when you see these much heralded athletes come in, they come in with a blaze of glory, home runs and key hits and all that. Runs about a week and a half, and then they flame out.
Yeah.
I hope Caglione doesn't do that. And last night, he was 0 for 5. He hit the ball every time. In fact, his first time up, he smashed one to deep right center field. And only because Victor Scott, the Cardinals center fielder, is quick, was that not an extra base hit. He made a nice glove-handed catch in front of the wall. But Caglione is the real deal. He's a big kid, and he swings very well. Hit the ball every time up last night, but did go 0 for 5. Bottom line is the Royals won the game. 10-7, beat the Cardinals, and came from behind to do it. Bobby Witt Jr. led off the game. Actually, didn't lead it off, but he batted second and hit a 2-run homer in the first inning. Banged one. And that's a great start. 2-0, you're off. Well, the Cardinals came back to tie the game and then hit the Royals with 5 or 3 more runs and took a 5-2 lead. Eventually, it went to 7-2 in favor of the Cardinals. And this game's over because Kansas City's offense just simply can't catch up. Wrong-o, sports fans. Kansas City comes up with a 6-run rally in the 5th inning, comes from behind, beats the Cardinals 10-7. And really quite an interesting game. Bobby Witt Jr. had 4 RBIs of the 10 that Kansas City had. Kansas City, when they put things together, they're a pretty good baseball team.
They absolutely are, and I love these I-70 series. All right, the Springbirds are on the road this week. Where are they at?
They're in Frisco, Texas, and the Springbirds are playing very well. They got 3 hits each from J.J. Weatherholt and Leonardo Bernal last night. Bernal also had 3 RBIs. And the Cardinals, Springbirds, win 7-2 over the Frisco Rough Riders. That's a big win because Frisco is a big winner in the Texas League. They were 31-19 going into this game, now 31-20, obviously. And Springfield's been scuffling along, but they do have a winning record. Still, nice win for the Springfield Cardinals last night, 7-2.
Last but not least, the big dogs in the chase for the College Baseball World Series are out. When do we get to the next round?
We get there Friday with the Super Regionals, and these are all best of 3. This is the Sweet 16 of college baseball. 16 teams vying for 8 positions in the College World Series. So by Sunday, or maybe Monday, there will be all 8 teams that go to Omaha for the College World Series will be decided. Well, the Super Regional is pretty interesting. You have games that involve teams on whom we're focused here. Arkansas will host their Super Regional, which they usually do. Arkansas plays Tennessee. These are conference teams, both Southeastern Conference ball clubs, and they'll play down in Fayetteville where they'll have 9,000 to 10,000 people watching the game. The other one we're watching is really interesting. Duke University, playing at home in Durham, North Carolina, is taking on Murray State from the Missouri Valley Conference. Murray State is no slouch, folks. They are no slouch at all. They could go into Durham and knock off Duke. Duke is home. We'll see what happens, but it's possible that a Missouri Valley Conference team will be in the College World Series. Possible.
It would be great to see it, Ned. You have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.